Now, as Trent Alexander-Arnold has now withdrew from the England squad, this opens up an opportunity for Jesse Lingard, I think. Welcome back to West Ham Unofficial. This is the England News Show where I will bring you, injury news, match reviews, previews for all of the Euros games. If you go on to enjoy these videos, drop a like and subscribe if you're new around here. And, this is interesting because obviously so disappointing with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Got in the England squad, one of the 4 right backs that were put in there, and then he plays the warm-up game against Austria and gets injured. Really, really frustrating for him. So he's out of the Euros, which means that now there's an opportunity for one player to come in from the 7 that were kind of cut from the provisional squad. So Trent Alexander-Arnold, of course, withdrew from the squad. The Liverpool player sustained a thigh injury in the closing stages of Wednesday's 1-0 win against Albania at the Riverside Stadium in Middlesbrough. A scan on Thursday confirms that the 22-year-old will be unable to play in the forthcoming tournament, so he's withdrawn from the England squad to return to his club for treatment. Now, this is really, really kind of really frustrating for him. A thigh injury, but this does open an opportunity, and a very exciting opportunity, perhaps, for Jesse Lingard. Now, I've looked at this. We looked at the England squad, and I went on it on my video and said, "There's no balance in this. So what is going on?" I mean, just to look at some of these graphics, look at the state of it. Look at all of these defenders, and then look at the small amount of midfielders there. So it's got to be a midfielder that comes into size. So obviously that only leaves 3 right backs, which is going to be more than enough anyway. So if there was one position we probably could have afforded an injury, and we've still got really, really decent backup without having to bring one of the 7 players in from the provisional squad, it's probably you'd pick the right back, because he's picked 4 right backs and 6 full backs altogether, which, strange. Very, very strange. But he's injured, so that leaves 3, which is, going to be more than enough. I just hope that this is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to bring this up now. So this is the 7 players that he's got to choose from. Now, Trent Alexander-Arnold comes out, so that means he's obviously going to pick from Aaron Ramsdale. He won't pick him. So the defenders, Ben Godfrey and Ben White, I'd like to think that he doesn't bring another defender in. He adds another midfielder. So that leaves James Ward-Prowse and Jesse Lingard. See, I'm gonna debate these 2 players now, which one I pick. So let's get straight on with it then. So let's have a look at some stats then. As you can see here, J Lings, or JWP for short, Jesse Lingard or James Ward-Prowse. So Jesse Lingard, appearances 16 this season, 9 goals and 4 assists. And let's not forget that he had a really purple patch towards the end of the season where he wasn't really creating. He wasn't at the level that he was, in the Wolves games towards the start of his period at West Ham United. And then James Ward-Prowse, 38 appearances this season, 8 goals and 7 assists. So obviously played every single game, or played some minutes in every single game. A really, really crucial player, and a well-deserved call up to the provisional squad. These 2 players were probably one of the hardest let off players. That's pretty harsh on them to leave them out. I'm going to be completely honest with you. So for me, one of these 2 players has to come in for Trent Alexander-Arnold. We cannot put a defender in there. So I've got a strength and a weakness for both of these players. So Lingard's strength is he's got that pace. He's deadly on the counter-attack. Perhaps if he doesn't start some games, if we're trailing, we've got some really difficult games in the group stage. Croatia, if we're trailing with 20 minutes to go, we could just bring Jesse Lingard on. That bit of energy, pace, we could be on the counter-attack. He's deadly on the counter-attack. He could start from the start and he could have a really, really fantastic game, or he could come on for an impact sub, a really, really helpful player to have, I think. I'd rather have him there than 3 backup right backs, in my opinion, because he can make things happen, whereas we don't need that much squad depth in that right back position. Of course, what strengths come, weaknesses come, and we saw that in the last couple of games of the season for West Ham, and that's probably, if he would have kept up some sort of form that he did in the first the first 10 games for West Ham, he probably would have went straight into this side, but he's just missed out because his form kind of eased off towards the end of the season, so he can go missing at times, and we saw it for West Ham. His presence, you always know that he can make things happen, but he can go invisible sometimes. But any player can do that. Any player can have an off day, and he could come back now in these Euros games, and he could really set it alight. Or he could be invisible for some games. First couple of games, if he plays, he goes invisible. He probably won't start again, because there's so many good players that Gareth Southgate knows that can do a really, really good job. And if you start a game and you don't really do well, you don't blame Gareth Southgate for switching up, because look at the players he's got there in that attacking midfield position. Look at it. I mean, you've got Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Bukayo Saka, Jadon Sancho, all of these players. You've got Jude Bellingham. You've got Mason Mount. So it's going to be really hard for a player in this attacking striker central midfield positions to really sustain a position. Now, the only player that I'd expect to sustain a position is Declan Rice in the centre of midfield. He should be the first name on the team sheet, in my opinion. Whoever goes beside him, whether it be Calvin Phillips, Jude Bellingham, or Jordan Henderson, maybe Mason Mount could come back and play next to his mate as well. But Declan Rice must be the first name in that midfield and in that team, in my opinion. But the rest of it is completely up for the taking. So obviously we're not gonna so it's come out that Gareth Southgate is not going to announce this final addition to the squad, because he's now only got 25-man squad. Of course, he's allowed a 26-man squad, so he's going to pick one player after the game on Sunday. So he's going to assess everyone. And then, because the 7 players that aren't going to make the Euro squad, well, one of them will, they are still allowed to play in the warm-up games. He's going to put them all together, assess it, and then pick one of the players after our final warm-up game on Sunday, ahead of our first game in the Euros next week. It's going to be a really interesting move. James Ward-Prowse, let's have a little look at him then. 38 goals, 38 appearances, 8 goals and 7 assists. His strength, dead ball circumstances, free kicks, corners. Now, he's a person, he can put a fantastic ball into the box. He can make things happen from a free kick. And I looked at this and thought, we've got loads of players that have got the tactical mindset of them to know when to win a free kick, to know how to win a free kick. Yes, you put it down as cheating sometimes, but these players, if they've got the awareness and they're good at it, if they know James Ward-Prowse is on the pitch, they're going to try and get, cheap in and around the penalty area, in and around the box, get free kicks, because, when James Ward-Prowse steps over it, he's probably the best in the Premier League. He's the person you want over these free kicks, and, he could be the difference. We saw it in Russia 2018. We scored quite a few goals from dead ball circumstances, from free kicks. Now, he could be the difference in some of these games. It might be a really, really scrappy game. It will just take that little touch of brilliance from James Ward-Prowse to get a goal, and that could win us, and that could, take us forward more into the Euros. Who knows? Of course, I mean, it's not really a weakness. I think there is better playmakers that we've got in this side that probably Gareth Southgate will pick over him. I'm going to be completely honest. I think all of you watching this at home will probably pick Phil Foden over James Ward-Prowse, probably pick Mason Mount over him, maybe Jesse Lingard. It just comes down to preference, the game awareness, and whether we need a goal and we can win some free kicks and give James Ward-Prowse the ball and say, get us a goal, because we need one. It's going to be really, really interesting after the game on Sunday to see who Gareth Southgate picks to add to the squad. It shouldn't be, of course, Aaron Ramsdale. It shouldn't be a defender. It should be one of the two that I've discussed today, Jesse Lingard or James Ward-Prowse. I'm going to say this, I'd be surprised if it's anyone else. There's 7 players to choose from. I'd be surprised if he picked anyone but those 2 players. Anyway, I was going to go up the Hammers then. Up the England. There we go. Come on, England. I don't think football's coming home, but football's coming home. Come on, England. I hope Gareth Southgate makes the right decision and, in my opinion, picks Jesse Lingard and I might have a little bit of bias, but I think he could really, really make a difference in this Euros, and I think he's been harshly treated so far, and let's hope that he can get into that side. Anyway, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new around here, get your thoughts in the comment section down below. Who would you pick, Lingard or James Ward-Prowse or any of the other 7 players that he's got to choose from? Maybe he might chuck. Oh no, that is the wrong one. He might chuck Ollie Watkins in there. You never know. But that is going to do it. That has been the England News Show. And is this an opportunity for Jesse Lingard? Who knows? Up the 3 Lions. Come on. And I'll see you very, very soon for another video. Cheers, guys.